You're about to hear a sentence that stings a little because it's true for almost every well-meaning dog owner at some point. Most trust isn't broken by big moments. It's broken by a pattern of tiny moments where your dog says, "I'm not okay," and we accidentally respond with, "Too bad." So let's talk about the number one mistake that breaks trust with dogs and how to fix it fast in a way your dog can actually feel. Number one, the number one mistake that breaks trust is punishing communication, then forcing compliance anyway. Let's make it painfully clear what I mean. Your dog growls when someone leans over them. Your dog snaps the air when a hand reaches into their bed. Your dog backs away from a collar grab. Your dog freezes when you try to hug them. Your dog barks when another dog gets too close. And humans, being humans, often react to the sound, not the message. "Hey, no, stop that, bad dog," or the classic, "Don't you dare." Sometimes it's not even yelling. Sometimes it's subtle. A leash jerk, a sharp tone, a looming posture, a finger wag, a forced hold in place. But the dog learns the same thing either way. When I warn you, you get worse, so they stop warning. And that's how trust breaks. Because from your dog's perspective, trust isn't, "Do you love me?" Trust is, "When I tell you I'm uncomfortable, do you listen or do you trap me?" This is where people get confused, so let's say it out loud. A growl is not a betrayal. A growl is your dog trying to keep the relationship intact. It's communication with brakes on. It's your dog saying, "I don't want to bite, please don't make me choose." When we punish that, we don't build respect. We build silence. And silence is not the same thing as calm. Number two, why dogs communicate in whispers before they shout. Dogs are not born randomly aggressive. Most dogs are actually conflict avoidant by default. They would rather create space than create a scene. So before a growl, there are usually smaller signals. The stuff humans miss because it's quiet, quick, and honestly kind of inconvenient. The head turn away. The lip lick that looks like they're just licking their lips. The whale eye, where you see the white of the eye. The stiff, closed mouth. The yawn that's not sleepy. The paw lift. The sudden sniffing of the ground like the sidewalk is giving a TED Talk. These are displacement behaviors and calming signals, and researchers who study canine stress responses have been pointing to this for years. Dogs escalate when their earlier signals don't work. Not because they're dramatic, because communication is supposed to change the situation. So imagine being your dog. You try the polite signals. They don't work. You try distance. You get followed. You freeze. Someone keeps reaching. You growl. You get punished. At that point, your dog's brain doesn't go, "Oh, wow, lesson learned. I'll behave better next time." Their brain goes, "Nothing I do makes me safe, except escalation." And that's where bites come from. Not from dominance, from desperation. Number three, the psychology behind it, and why punishment makes trust rot from the inside. Here's the part that matters. Dogs learn by association, not by speeches, not by lectures, not by that disappointed sigh you do when they should know better. Association. So if your dog growls and then you yell, grab them, pin them, drag them, or force them into the situation anyway, your dog doesn't just learn growling is bad. They learn humans don't respect my boundaries. Humans ignore my discomfort. Humans become unpredictable when I'm scared. Humans make scary things happen. That unpredictability is huge. In animal behavior research, predictability and control are two major factors that reduce stress. When an animal can predict what will happen or has some control over it, their stress response is lower. When they can't, anxiety skyrockets. So when we punish communication, we remove the dog's sense of control. And the tragic part is, you might see a dog shut down and think, wow, they're finally behaving. But shutdown isn't trust. It's surrender. It's the dog going quiet because they don't believe their feelings matter. And that is not the relationship you want, even if it looks calm on the outside. Number 4, the real-world example that convinces almost everyone. Picture this. A dog is lying on the couch. A kid runs up and hugs them around the neck. The dog freezes. The adults laugh. Aww, best friends. The dog licks their lips. Their eyes get wide. They can't leave because the kid is literally holding them. Then the dog growls. And the adult reacts. No, we don't growl. The kid hugs tighter because now everyone's tense and the kid doesn't understand. And then, eventually, the dog snaps. Now the story becomes, the dog bit out of nowhere. But it wasn't out of nowhere. It was out of a whole conversation the humans ignored. Trust didn't break at the bite. Trust broke at the moment the dog's no was punished. Number 5, so what's the fix? And how do you do it fast? Here's the good news. Dogs are ridiculously forgiving when you get consistent about listening. The fast fix is not some magical trick. It's a new rule you live by. Communication is always safe. Your dog must learn. When I say I'm uncomfortable, my human makes it easier. That is the foundation. So, step 1, effective immediately. Stop punishing warning signs. No yelling at growls. No alpha stuff. No forced face-to-face apologies. No show them who's boss. If your dog growls, your job is not to shut it down. Your job is to answer it. And the answer is almost always create space. Move away, turn sideways, soften your posture. Give the dog a clear exit. Remove the trigger if you can. Because what you're saying with your body is, I heard you. And hearing your dog is the beginning of trust repair. Number 6, reward honesty. Yes, you reward the growl, but not the way people think. I can already hear someone going, wait, so I'm supposed to reward growling? Won't that teach them to growl more? Here's the important nuance. You're not rewarding the act of growling like it's a cute trick. You're rewarding the decision not to bite. You're marking the moment your dog chose communication instead of damage. So what does that look like? Your dog stiffens when you reach toward them. You stop your hand. You calmly toss a treat away from you so the dog can move and decompress. You give them space. That treat is not payment for aggression. It's reinforcement for self-control and a signal that you are safe. And if your dog is too stressed to take the treat, that's information too. That means you're too close to their limit and you need more distance, not more insisting. Number 7, the trust triangle that rebuilds the bond faster than anything else. If you want trust to come back quickly, focus on 3 things every single day. Predictability, choice, follow through. Predictability means your dog can guess what happens next. Routine, clear cues, calm handling, no surprises. Choice means your dog has a way to say yes and no without getting punished. And that is massive for confidence. Follow through means when your dog says no, You actually respect it. Not forever, not like the dog runs the household, but enough that the dog believes you're listening. And this is where a lot of people mess up. They give the dog choice until it's inconvenient. Then they override it. Dogs notice that. If no only counts when you're in a good mood, then no doesn't count. Number 8, the fastest practical tool, consent tests, or do you want this? Here's something you can start today that can change your dog's whole vibe. Consent test. Super simple. When you go to pet your dog, don't just dive in. Offer your hand, palm down, a little to the side. Let them approach. If they lean in, great. Pet for 3 seconds, then pause. This is key. Stop and watch. If they re-engage, nudge you, lean in, or follow your hand, that's consent. Keep going. If they look away, step away, freeze, or lick lips, you stop. That tiny pause teaches your dog, I control my body. My human listens. And you'll be shocked how many behavior problems shrink when dogs stop feeling trapped. Number 9, replace grabby handling with cooperative care. A huge trust breaker happens in daily life. Collar grabs, forced grooming, nail trims, ear cleaning, even just dragging a dog off the bed. From a dog's perspective, a sudden grab is a predator move. It's not personal. It's instinct. So instead of, I'm going to take you, teach, help me do this. This is where cooperative care comes in. It's basically training your dog to voluntarily participate in handling with start and stop signals. One of the simplest versions is a start button. For example, teach your dog to put their chin in your hand or rest their head on a towel. When the chin is down, you do gentle handling. When the chin lifts, you stop. That one skill can transform grooming from a wrestling match into teamwork. And teamwork is trust in action. Number 10, what to do if you messed up 5 minutes ago. Let's get real. You will mess up. You're human. Sometimes you'll move too fast. Sometimes you'll grab the collar in a panic. Sometimes you'll raise your voice because your nervous system showed up before your brain did. So here's the Fix It Fast protocol for right after a trust rupture. First, stop what you're doing. Don't double down. Second, create space. Literally, step back, turn your body sideways. Third, decompress the moment. My favorite simple decompress is the treat scatter. Toss a small handful of treats on the ground away from you. Sniffing is regulating for dogs. It lowers arousal. It changes the brain state from threat to search. Then, once the dog is calmer, you don't go right back to the same thing like nothing happened. You reset. Instead, you make it easier. You choose a smaller step. That's what repair looks like. Not pretending it didn't happen, but showing your dog you can change. And that's powerful. Number 11, the surprising truth about being the leader. A lot of people genuinely want to be a good leader for their dog. And I get it. Dogs actually do benefit from guidance. But leadership is not force. Leadership is safety. The best leaders are predictable. They don't explode. They don't punish honesty. They don't ignore distress signals and then act shocked when things escalate. If your dog growls and your response is calm and helpful, you become trustworthy. If your dog growls and your response is anger, you become a risk. And dogs don't bond deeply with risks. They manage them. Number 12, when trust breaks, what your dog is really asking, Under every growl, every freeze, every bad behavior moment that looks defiant, there's usually a simple need: please help me feel safe. Not let me get away with everything, not I want to dominate you, not I'm being spiteful, safe. So the fastest way to rebuild trust isn't to control your dog more, it's to communicate better, to become a person your dog can disagree with. Because trust isn't your dog never saying no. Trust is your dog believing they can say no without losing you. And that's the closing idea I want to leave you with. A dog who trusts you isn't a dog who never growls. A dog who trusts you is a dog who believes you'll listen before things get scary. So if you want to fix it fast, start here. Make communication safe. Let your dog's no be information, not a punishable offense. Give them choice. Be predictable. Follow through. And when your dog realizes, this human hears me, something incredible happens. They stop needing to shout. They start relaxing in your presence, not because they've been forced to, but because they genuinely feel safe with you. And that's not just obedience. That's a relationship.